everybody. Just gonna wait for a few more minutes so others could join me. Happy Sunday to everybody.
Hey, it's that mama 5, living life, feeling alive. From kids to culture, news to tea. Real talk, real life. Come vibe with me. That mama 5, she's got the vibe, yeah. Watching that Mama 5, where real stories meet real life. Hey, it's that Mama 5, living life, feeling alive. From kids to culture, news to tea. Real talk, real life. Come vibe with me. That mama 5, she's got the vibe, yeah. Yo, watching that mama 5, where real stories meet real life.
Hello everybody. Hello everybody. I see you. Tough Luck said intro is fire. Intro is fire. Well, shout out to Uncle Beno. It was Uncle Beno who obviously made that intro for me. That was just a trial, so I'm hoping that it's going to make me correct Bedu. Yes, so right, let's welcome everybody here again. Hello everybody. It is good to see you all. Please, as you're coming in, like this video for me and share, because I'm going to be like, this topic, there was no way I was going to let it pass. There was no way I was going to let this topic pass. So please like and share, because I am going to be coming on the aspect of me being a nurse. But before we get into that, let me welcome all of my real fam that are here. Vivian V, Sisterly, I see you. Happy Sunday. How have you been? How was your week? And it's good to see you here. And Tough Luck, I see you as well. You are always on time, a beautiful sister. Welcome. You are always here. Like, I heart you a lot. You are always here. Even once the video drops like this, like you are here, dropping comments, liking. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence in here. For those of you who are still watching me, I can see there's about 21 of you watching me. Please like and share this video. It's very, very important that we do so, because this video, there's a lot that I'm going to be, there's a lot that we're going to be touching, okay? And for, like I said, it's a topic that there was no way I was going to, let this pass. I was going to do a sit-down video, but then I was like, what? I really want, obviously, want to be able to put all of my, obviously, experience of being a nurse and all of that. I really want to put it out here so that we all learn, and also, like, the errors that are already there. And it's not just, it is not just the nurse that should be blamed in all of this, because if they are going to, if they've suspended the nurse, then the hospital itself has their own fault. We could have been prevented, but we will get there. So, Bibo, thank you so much. You're welcome. Guys, welcome. Please like and share. I shall, I really appreciate that. So, those of you who are watching us, like I said, if you're new here, my name is Wemimo. Yeah, Wemimo, Oluwawemimo. And I'm also known as that mom of 5, because I've got amazing 5 beautiful kids. And yes, okay, come on, follow more. I thank God for them. And I'm also known as TMO5 Candle Co, because I have a small business here in the UK where I sell scented candles, home diffusers, everything home fragrances. I've just launched a new set of product tonight. So I'm going to put my website on the screen here, so you can go shop my website. If you're here in the UK, you can shop my products. Okay, we ship throughout the UK, and like I said, I've just dropped a few products tonight. So that's the link to my website there. We are in the UK, and if you're in the UK, we ship everywhere. So go shop. And yeah, Valentine's around the corner. I do lots of beautiful candles. Like, guys, you don't want to go and be paying £250 for tiny glass of candle when you can actually support my small business here and get a beautiful candle that will burn really well. So welcome everybody. I hope you're all sitting down. I hope you all have your cup of tea. I hope you all have your popcorn, and let's dive into today's video. So Vivian V said, "Ma'am M5, you are using this weird Gen Z platform again. I can only see tough on here, but so those of you that are watching on platform on the vertical, you might not see all of us on the horizontal. So you might want to move to horizontal. So yeah." I'm just trying everything I see, Vivian V. So yeah, let's get into it. So let me pop this image onto my screen. Actually, let me share my screen with you because I opened up a couple of what's it called, news channel or article where I found the story from. So let me share my screen with you. So we'll read the story together. So it's not as if maybe that one of five. What are you reading? Okay. So I found this article from. I don't know where all of this pop up. I hate pop-ups. I just hate pop-ups. So this is a news. It says it's a news channel. In fact, I don't think. I don't like this or Sydney one. Let me share this other one with you guys. Okay. Some of these websites, they always open up pop-ups, and I hate pop-ups. If you see pop-ups, that's my shopping habit. You guys are seeing. You guys are seeing all the places that Mom of Five likes to shop. So let me open this other one that I found from Daily Mail. So as you can see there, it says glamorous aged care nurse suspended for sleeping on the job while in charge learns of her fate. This is not the first time I'm seeing something like this. Okay, this is not the first time I'm seeing a post like this. There's a page on Instagram that I follow, and a few of them actually who work in care homes have actually come on, like they drop a post anonymously saying that they were reported because apparently a colleague of theirs caught them sleeping allegedly, and a colleague telling you that you're sleeping. How many times have you done it? And also people are like, oh, did you accept it or did you agree? You know, for the fact that you're a black person in all of these places of work, you're not safe. And it's sad that I am agreeing to it and I'm saying it, because the thing that you will not get away with, they will get away with it. I'm not being, this is not a matter of that maybe I'm racist or anything like that. No, we just have to be honest with one another. That is how this society is. The thing that a black person, the thing that a white person will get away with, as a black person, you will not get away with it. You will not get away with it. Hence why I always say to people that no matter what profession you join, you make sure you join a professional body. So for me, being a nurse in the UK, I joined RCN. RCN is Royal Council for Royal College of Nursing. So it's like a union for nurses. There's more than one. There are different, organizations for nurses. There's unison. There's a lot. So whatever profession that you find yourself, please inquire about joining a workforce body, and that place that you are working, there will always be a representative from a union that you join. Where I work, I joined a work union, and there is a representative of that union that I join at my work. She's also a member of that union. So God forbid God forbid anything happens at work and I needed somebody to, step up for me. The first person I'll reach out to will be my union. And then they will send somebody to represent. Maybe I'm being invited to an interview at work. Maybe my enemy commit one offense. It is my union I will get in contact with before I even speak to anybody. And my union will be the one to reach out. They will ask me what's happened over the phone. After then, they will find a representative. So it will be a plus if there's a representative within that organization you're working at. So it is up to you to decide if you want that representative that is actually at your work, or you want somebody else entirely who is not at that place of your work. So it is up to you. For example, when I had the issue of my son with social services, and it got to a stage whereby they were telling me that they were going to report me to my workplace, that they will report me to social services, they will report me to the police, they will do this. I was lost because at the end of the day, they're already bringing Idara welcome, Oyade welcome, I see you. They were already bringing my work into it. And if I was not being honest from onset, I would have lost my job. So when this thing happened, I already carried my employer along and let them know from the get go. Like, see if I'm having issues with my kids or I'm struggling with them. I always said to my colleague at work. So it's not as maybe I like to discuss about my children, but I always let them know. So when that issue happened, that they were like, the social service were like, oh, we're going to contact NHS, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they advised me to report myself to the union. What did I do? I contacted my workforce straight away. RC and say, this is what happened, this is what happened, and they say, okay, they're going to speak to a lawyer on behalf of on my behalf, and they will get back to me in regards to what to do. So that's how these things. It's very, very important. You might say you're not going to need them, but you can never tell when you're going to need somebody to represent you. Okay, welcome fashion. Last time, my baby sister, how are you? So I've heard people saying that, oh, workforce, they don't help you. Trust me, if you speak to them at the instance of you getting into trouble, you will find a positive outcome. So let's go into this case. So like I said, I found this article a few days ago and I was contemplating if I should do a sit-down video or not. But let's read the article. So it says that glamorous aged care nurse suspended for sleeping on the job while in charge lends her face. So for the bullet point there, nurse fell asleep during night shift. Registration has been cancelled. So I believe in the UK, for you to practice as a nurse, you have to be registered with the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Just like how we have doctors. If you're a doctor from wherever and you come into the UK, if you don't register with the doctors, whatever, you will not be able to practice. Okay. So I believe that's the same in Sydney. I believe this incident happened in Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. And then he continues saying that a young nurse has had her registration cancelled and struck off the register after inappropriate conduct during night shifts at a nursing home, including falling asleep on the job up to 6 times. So it's been alleged she fell asleep up to 6 times. I'm taking a note so I don't forget in case I go back to my in case I want to obviously go back to this. So she has been struck off for inappropriate conduct during night shift and at a nursing home, including falling asleep up to 6 times at the job. So her name is Chimzuru Okemba Okembunachi. She's 25 years old, and definitely from that name you can tell she's a Nigerian. Okay, and we know what tribe. She started work as a registered nurse at the Adi Aged Care HAC in Guildford in Western Sydney in February 2024. But after a month on the job, she was suspended and resigned from her position. She was only on the job for a month. A month when that happened. So it's like in a month, she slept 6 times. So, which means that out of a month, she slept 6 times out of a month. Okay. So they continued. The NSW Civil and Administrative Tribunal on Tuesday found Ms. Okebunachi guilty of professional misconduct and ordered the cancellation of her nurse registration. The tribunal panel heard that Ms. Okebunachi had been rostered for night shift from 13th to 27th of March 2024. On each shift, the panel noted that Ms. Okembunachi was the only registered nurse supervising 3 or 4 assistants in nursing and 100 elderly residents. So she's one nurse to 100 residents. Guys, I'm taking notes and we're going to get back to them. And then she has like 3 or 4 healthcare assistants. So healthcare assistants, they probably could be band 2s or band 3s. So if you know, here in the NHS, we have healthcare assistants. They are the one who often do the dirty job for nurses. When I say dirty job, like they run errands for nurses, okay? So she is the only nurse, registered nurse on that ward, supervising 3 or 4 assistants and 100 elderly residents. So when we are talking about elderly residents, these are old people, aged people, and they're not just aged or old alone. They could have aging illnesses. They could have Parkinson's. They could have dementia. They could have a lot of things, right? Because it's an elderly care home. It's more like a care home in the UK. That's where she is. So she herself is the only registered nurse, and then she has 3 or 4 healthcare assistants. So I'm putting it the way it will be here in the UK. So for example, let me put myself as an example. In a ward where there is 100 elderly residents, I am the only registered nurse with 3 or 4 band 2 or band 3 healthcare assistants. I hope we understand that part, right? So let's keep reading. It continued. The tribunal, so on each shift, Okay, I've read it. But on 6th of this night, she failed to discharge her duties and responsibilities as she slept while on duty. The tribunal heard that on 3 occasions, the nurse failed to give a patient a regular dose of morphine because she was asleep. Okay, that's other images of her. So they actually titled her glamorous. I don't know how she looks glamorous in these pictures, but ew. During her fifth night shift from March 21st to 22nd, Miss Okebunachi was awoken by an AIN, that is, was woken up by a healthcare assistant who turned on the light in the nurse's station, the tribunal here. So it was one of those people whom she was in charge that saw her where she was sleeping allegedly at the nurse's station. But a minute later, the nurse turned the light back off. The tribunal also heard that the nurse told an AIN to give a male patient Panadol on March 15 to help get rid of his foot pain, despite the assistant not being authorized to administer medication. If you know, a band 2 or a band 3 healthcare assistant on the ward are not, like, they are not trained to the level of administering medication. Even if you did not at the one, if you have already taken the medication out of the omnicell or where the medication are kept, you can't give it to them to go and give it to a patient. You did not have to go and give the medication to the nurse, to the patient yourself, not a band 2, not a band 3. So we are listening to that. The assistant reportedly asked Miss Okebunachi, "Are you sure we are not allowed to provide medication directly?" So the healthcare assistants definitely know that they are not allowed. Why the healthcare staff proceeded to go give the medication, I do not understand. So the nurse's reply, the tribunal noted, was, "It's okay, sister. Just give it to him." She was even so we don't know who the healthcare assistant was, if it was another Australian or another black sister, because she refers to the AIN as, "Just give it to him. It's okay, sister." So Miss Okebunachi was then reported to her bosses by 2 nurses on the 27th March and was informed by email the next day that her employment had been suspended and requested a meeting. That was really quick. Okay, that suspension was really, really quick. 20 minutes after she received the email, Miss Okebunachi tendered her resignation and declined to attend the meeting. So for that action alone, it shows that she was guilty, allegedly. It shows she was guilty, allegedly, because if that was me, even if I'm not sleeping, even if I was sleeping, I would still fight it. I could just be sitting and maybe, but then she doing that was obviously proof that she was guilty of what she's been accused of. But there is a reason why I am doing this live stream, but we'll get there. After a complaint to the Healthcare Complaints Commission, which brought the tribunal case against the nurse, our nursing registration was suspended. That's a picture of born in Nigeria. Miss Okebunachi moved to Australia in 2018 and graduated with a Bachelor of Nursing Science at University of the Sunshine Coast in 2021. She then embarked on a graduate degree in medicine at Western Sydney University, which she balanced with her work at HAC while suffering from migraine. So apparently, working on that shift as a nurse, she's studying for a graduate role or a graduate degree or something, and she's doing nights. Yes, most students would prefer to work nights. During her second degree, Ms. Okebunachi had to take a leave of absence after failing the mid-year anatomy exam. She then returned to her studies in 2024. Early that year, the tribunal heard that her younger sister required an expensive surgery for a scoliosis condition, which cost their father about $60,000. That surgery was what my son had here in the UK, and I did not pay one penny. I did not pay one penny. You can imagine $60,000. This event caused me significant stress and influenced my decision to cease agency work in favor of more permanent employment, Ms. Okebunachi told the tribunal. In insight, I should not have applied for or accepted the position at ADI. I should have recognized that I had a lot of stressors going on in my life, family, health, and school, and so working night shift during the week was putting patient safety at risk. Okay. Ms. Okebunachi also told the tribunal that she accepted it was her responsibility to give medication to residents. Yes, because healthcare assistants are not allowed to give medication. So I'm going to quickly read this article and then we'll get on to the case. Guys, I see you all. Please like and share as a comment. So she continued, while I slept on night shift, I failed it. So she already agreed, accepted that she slept. And for the fact that she accepted that she slept, I think the decision of the trust to suspend her was too much. I failed in supervising those staff members and the residents, she told the hearing. She has not worked as a nurse since her suspension, but is still studying for a medicine degree. I'm afraid, see that even that degree, if she qualified, that effect of her sleeping at work will possibly have an effect on this her degree. Her father has been supporting her financially, and since February 2025, she has also been receiving a Centrelink student allowance, the tribunal noted. During the hearing, Ms. Okebunachi said she hoped to return to nursing and, if allowed to keep working, will not do night shift while studying at university. However, the tribunal panel made an order to cancel Okebunachi's nursing registration, which means she can never, ever work as a nurse ever again in Australia, in Sydney. That's what that meant. They've cancelled her nursing registration, which means that she can never ever work as a nurse in Sydney again. She needs to go and start another degree, another career. So, like I said, she's studying for like a medicine, whatever. This will have an impact on that medicine degree once she qualifies. I can guarantee you that. In court, the acts of the practitioner had the potential to endanger the lives of patients under her care, the findings read. In our view, any order short of the registration would be inadequate response to the seriousness of the practitioner's misconduct. But the panel did note that Ms. Okebunachi had been clearly remorseful and contrite and conspicuously honest in her evidence. She cannot apply for a review of the cancellation order for at least 9 months. So, which meant that for them to maybe look into our application again. Uncle Beno, welcome, my Gbasgbos uncle. Okay, I need to reduce the background song. Let me remove it totally. Welcome, Uncle Beno. Welcome, I see you. Sister Arikemi, I see you all. Mary Sugar, I see you. Welcome. My beautiful sister Big Bay, Happy New Year. Welcome. So, you guys saw from that article there. When I was reading that article, my tentacles were bang, 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 bang. So, she is a nurse and she's studying a second degree. She's only 25. She's studying a second degree in medicine. Meanwhile, that was why she was working nights. So, just like we were reading earlier on, just a quick recap. She is a nurse, the only one nurse in a healthcare facility for elderly people. In that facility were 100 elderly residents. She is the only one nurse, one registered nurse to 100 patients. Agbalagba, 100 old people. And she has 3 or 4 healthcare assistants. So those 3 healthcare assistants, they probably will be doing personal care for these old people. Maybe they need to go to the toilet, they need to change their diaper. That is the job that healthcare assistant will do. Maybe serve them food. That's what they will do. They are not trained. They are not qualified enough to administer medication. For me, reading that article, in my own opinion, if I arrive at work, if I arrive at such facility, and I happen to be the only nurse to 100 residents, I'm sorry, I am going home. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that shift. I am not doing that shift. I have worked in a care home before, where I think they had about 32 residents. In that care home, there were about 3 qualified nurses during the day. And they had about 4 healthcare assistants. And I was working as healthcare assistants. So all we do is personal care. They need to use the toilet. They need to change their clothes. They need to shower. They need to be put to bed. They need activities. They need to be fed. That was my role then. They don't bomb me where to touch medication. It was the nurses. If there's anything I observe that I know I'm not trained to do, I'll let the nurse know. It's the nurse that would. So you guys had the example of where I used to work as a healthcare assistant, 3 nurses in a care home where there are 32 residents. And we had about 4 or 5 healthcare assistants. So in the case of this lady, in that facility of where she was working, she was the only registered nurse to 100 elderly people. And like I said earlier on, this is more or less like a care home. And when we have care homes, some elderly couples, they are still, everything is still fine. They just obviously maybe families are away or they don't have families. That's why they are in the care home. Their cognitive reason, everything might be perfect. They might not need anything. They might be able to do their stuff themselves. They just need to be in an environment whereby people will keep an eye on them. And there are some people, old people in care homes, some of them would have age-related illnesses, dementia, Parkinson's. Some of them might even have mobility issues. Some of them might not even be able to dress themselves. All of this is, and I understand, these are the job of healthcare assistants. Those 3 or 4 people that they said she had with her, these are the people who will go do all of that. Our own duty is mainly, medication. And if as a care assistant, you notice a bruise or you notice that our patient is maybe they are running temperature, me being an healthcare assistant, I will go and tell the nurse. So you can imagine if there were to be 20 residents who has headache, and she's the only one who's going to go around those 20 patients with headache. In my own opinion, the first thing here that they should be doing is to be looking into that organization on its own, because they are ridiculously understaffed. Ridiculously understaffed. That health tech, that care home, they are majorly understaffed, and they should be pulled for it. They should be pulled for it. She was doing the job of maybe 20 nurses. Here in the UK, as a nurse working on the ward, maximum patient you can look after is 8 in most NHS hospitals on the ward. Maximum patients you can look after at a time, maximum 8. My hospital where I work, maximum is between 6 and 7 during the day. So if I was this lady, I arrived at work and I happen to be the only nurse with 4 healthcare assistants, I'm sorry, I am not taking that shift. I would go home, because one, it is not safe. It is not safe. It is not safe. Let me read your comment before I go through. So Vivian said, so what are you doing here? Now you've not wished us elders happy. I don't start. Vivian said, exactly, M5, ridiculous, and plus, could they not even wake her up? She was probably burnt out caring for 100 people. So ideally, she's faulty. She's at fault for sleeping, but then she put that on herself. Except maybe that ratio of nurse to residents, except maybe that's how they practice in Sydney. But I beg to differ. It can't. It can't. Even me that I work in pre-op in my workplace, we do variety of shifts. For me, I do 3. So I've just changed my work pattern. I do 3 days of 12 hours. And then in the fourth week, I do 4 days of 12 hours. So some of us start, so for me, I start 7:30 in the morning and I finish 8 o'clock. At times, I start 8:30 in the morning and I finish 9 o'clock. There are some of us who start at 7:30, they finish 5:30, and they finish 5:30 and 6:30. So whatever patient that is left from 6:30, it is myself and those of us who are in recovery till 8 o'clock that will take over. So in most cases, there should be 6 nurses and a healthcare assistant. That is, when we're taking a patient back, somebody to push it trolley. Exactly, Olaoluwa. So where I work currently, there have been times whereby we were understaffed. Even as at then, that was about maybe 6 o'clock. Me and my other colleagues that we are there till 8 o'clock, we could tell that we are going to struggle, because already 4 of us, we have 3 patients already in recovery who are dealing with pain, and there's still one more patient to come out of theater, which we don't know what time they're going to come out. And me, I always tell them that, come, 8 o'clock is my finish time. 8 o'clock reach, I carry my bag, I am going home, because I have the right to go home at my finish time. So for the fact that there should be at least 5 nurses, there have been times where we don't even have up to 5 nurses, whereby some of our team leaders will have to wait till we are able to get some of the patients who are in recovery back to the ward. So they will wait till we have about maybe 3 patients. So if there's 5 of us, God forbid anything happens, if there are 3 patients in recovery and 3 nurses, the other 2 nurses can go and get help in other departments in the hospital. So you can now imagine a nurse to 100 residents, except maybe it was not 100 residents that night, but from the article we read, the article said she was the only registered nurse, 3 to 4 healthcare assistants to 100 healthcare residents, to 100 elderly people. Guys, like I said, if I was that girl, I would have obviously they will have handed over. Like, I don't even want to know how long their handover was going to take. Handing over 100 residents to one nurse. Voila. If I was her, I would have refused. I would say, I'm sorry, this is not safe. God forbid there should be fire. God forbid there should be fire in that facility. How will she and the 4 healthcare staff go to evacuate 100 residents? Mind you, some of them might be on wheelchair. Some of them might be using walking frame. Some of them might even need, something to help them stand up and all of that. So, in all of this, the young girl should be punished because she did not care. Because at the end of the day, you should not be sleeping at work. Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping? In my own opinion, she was wrong for sleeping at work. And yes, what caused it? The working environment, the working atmosphere caused it. Because by the time she's giving medication to 10 people, you'll be tired. Not to talk of 100 people. Yes, don't get me wrong. The 100 residents might not need medication. They might need medication at different time of the night. And yes, you will assume that, most of them will be sleeping. Trust me, that time of the night, some of them don't sleep. They don't sleep. Hello, Susan, welcome. They don't sleep. And yes, let me read your comment again. Vivian said she was probably burnt out caring for 100 exactly. Idara said, my question is, how was she able to sleep? Exactly, how was she able to sleep? She was probably depending on the 3 healthcare assistants that, okay, those ones, they are not sleeping there because those ones were patrolling each floor where these residents are. They'll probably be going back and forth in case, and I would imagine that they might not even be patrolling, they might even just sit down. And maybe if they use a call bell, there's something, if you've ever been in the ward before, if you've ever been admitted to hospital, they will give you a bell that if you need any nurse or if you need any help, press the button and the alarm, people will come in and help you. So they would imagine that if any of these residents need help, they will push the buzzer, right? So they might not even be patrolling. But then 100. And the people said, don't they have certified med tech on duty they can administer med? From what we've read, my sister, she's the only registered nurse. And I would imagine that they will have some medical doctors around that could have maybe come, because I would imagine they would do care homes. They do ward rounds during the day. Because I've worked in the care home before. They do all the ward rounds. The doctors will come out. And in fact, they don't even do ward round. It is the nurses that will check if there's anything wrong with the resident. And it is up to the nurses to now call the GP of the resident to say, let's say, for example, John had temperature overnight. Could you come visit, or could we get an appointment to take him round and stuff like that? So it's not as maybe doctor will come and look at them. It is the duty of the nurse to phone and say, by the way, John ran temperature overnight. We don't know what it is. We don't know how long he's been having the temperature. Could we get an appointment? And in most cases in care homes, their GPs will come to that care home to look after them. And if they need to order drugs or anything, or if they need to send them to the hospital, they will then phone for a paramedic to come collect them. So in this case, 100. And don't get me wrong, she was very, very at fault for sleeping. And yes, she had a lot going on. And in this regard, she was obviously remorseful. She admitted to sleeping. And in my own case, in my own opinion, she should have spoken to her union where they will have advised her. It's good to be honest, because like I said, you can never tell where your honesty will take you. Your honesty might work for you or it might work against you. When I had issues, my honesty worked for me. But in this lady's case, our honesty worked against her. Our honesty worked against her because she accepted that she slept and she gave reasons to why. She's studying, she had issues going on in her family life and all of that. So when the organization knew she had this issue, rather than suspending and deregistering her, even though the hospital, the care home is at fault here, most of the fault belongs to the care home here. Belongs to our employer here, because how can they justify one nurse to 100 elderly people? How can they justify that? How? In my own opinion, the majority of this is lying on our employer, not her. Yes, they could punish her for sleeping, but suspending her and deregistering her was way too much. She's lost a career because she accepted that she slept 6 times. Okay, you caught her the first time, or she was found to be sleeping the first time. Second time, even the first time is when you should have sat her down, like, what is going on? Offer her support. Like, ask her, why are you sleeping? Is there anything we could do to support you? Is there anything we could do to help you? or is night shift not suitable for you anymore? That was how they should have come. Second time she was caught, did they have a conversation with her? Did they offer her support? The third time she was caught sleeping or she confessed to sleeping, did they offer her support? Did they show that they care? Because at the end of the day, my workplace always tell us, no matter what you're doing at work, no matter how much you love your work, your mental health, you should care for yourself as well. Because if you are not right, if you're not okay, you're not going to be okay to come into work and look after any resident or any patient. If you're not okay up there, if your mind is disturbed, you can't come into work. You should not even come to work. If you're having issues, we have spirituality and something at my work. If you think you're struggling at work, we have team leaders as well. And for me, I've been quite vulnerable a few times with my team leaders. And they're like, what me? I'm going to book an appointment, go to either if it is occupational health I need, they will refer me to occupational health. If I need spiritual health care, people will just motivate you, speak to you to reassure you. I can always go there, give me 15 minutes, and whatever they suggest, like, maybe it's advisable you take some time off work. They can now get across to my player and say, or to my team leader and say, we spoke to her. I think she will benefit from maybe a few days off. And they will do that. That is the organization supporting you, not the registry. Because like I said, the major fault is on the employer here. 1 nurse to 100 residents. Like, if you do that in the UK, let me read your comment. Coyote, I'll call Coyote. That one is easy for me. But please, these Australian people, which one is 1 nurse for 100 people? Exactly. That's why I said if I was that nurse and I got there that night and I realized, I would just say, I'm sorry, this is not safe. I'm not going to put my license on the line. If you don't get me enough staff, I'm sorry, I am not starting this shift. That is what you should be doing. Any of us could find ourselves in this position or in this situation. If you ever come into work and there's a like big issue about understaffing, you have the right to refuse to start your shifts. Because if anything happens, trust me, you see how they chop her? You'll be the first person to go before they now bring the fault back to the organization. Now they've ruined her career. She can never ever work as a nurse ever again in Sydney, except she leaves Australia. Now she has a second degree studying medicine. I can guarantee you that is going to affect her professionally as well. If she eventually become a doctor, because she has that, maybe after 9 months, because they said she can't apply, she can't do anything for 9 months. Maybe after 9 months, they're going to maybe reinstate her registration. But the damage has already been done. What employer wants to employ a nurse who has a record of sleeping when she should be caring at work? Hence why that I'm here. I don't joke with my sleep. I can never ever work night shift. I don't joke with my sleep. As a student, I worked night shift even though we're not supposed to, but because I have to work 40% with my mentor. I worked night shift for 2 weeks or more. During second year, that was when I knew that if after qualifying from uni, I no find nursing job where they don't do where they don't work night shift. If they all do night shift, I will be going. I will go back to my IT degree, go and take up further training, and do something with my IT degree. It was in year 2 I made up my mind that I can never ever work night shift as a nurse. I don't mind working till late. Don't get me wrong. Even this my current job. There have been times where I finish 8 o'clock. I don't get to finish at 8 o'clock. There's been times where I don't finish until half 8 or 9 o'clock. I understand things happen where patient is in pain. You have to make sure that you help them manage their pain. But coming into work, understaffed, and there have been times whereby I felt really like there was a time I just got back from Nigeria. I was feeling so lethargic. I was feeling so, I don't even know what was wrong with me. And I was meant to resume work the following day. I phoned them the night before saying, I feel lethargic. I'm so tired. I don't know what's going on. I told them that I'm doing self-certification. I certified myself for 5 days. I did not go to work for 5 days because, it was as if I was a zombie and I was not on any medication. I just could not stay awake. I could not stay awake, even though I was getting proper sleep. I could not stay awake. I would rather not go to work and save my license than go to work in that condition, go and give morphine 8 meals when you're supposed to give a starting dose of 4 meals. Or you go and give morphine when you are supposed to give fentanyl. Or you go and give oxycodone IR when you're supposed to give MR. At the end of the day, if all of those errors accumulate, your registration is online. Your registration is on the line. So our nursing degree is ruined. It's ruined. Let's keep it. I'm going to take a few calls. I don't want to be here for too long, but I'm going to take a few calls, okay? Tough Luck said, I would imagine she would have to do, I would imagine that she would have to do nurses notes. Exactly. For us, we do ours online. You can just type, boop, 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 boop. I don't know if they do the same, but then 100 notes for 100 errors because she will need to go and check them. Like, okay, John slept well through the night. Suzanne slept, woke up at 2 a.m. Medication applied clinical for Rachel, or Susie was taking 100. I will run mad. I will run mad. How can she achieve that in 8 hours for 100 patients? Wow, just exactly. Exactly. Guys, it's something of you watching. Please, let's take the like to 20, please. Let's take the like to 20, please. I really appreciate it. You know, if you're watching from your mobile phone, double tap the screen, it will record the like. And if you're watching on your iPad or on your laptop, just hit the like button. I really, really appreciate that. You know, I hope you guys are learning from this. I'm a nurse as well. And when I saw that news, it was the employer me I blamed straight away. It was the employer I blamed straight away because tell me why you are putting one nurse to look after 100 people. And we all know elderly people, the older they become, they start acting like babies. There will be some that will refuse to sleep. Like I said, I've worked in care home before, but I've not done nights. But even the day shift that I've done, some of them, when they are meant to go and take an afternoon nap, they will not go. They will sit with you, say they are not sleeping. Or maybe at night, when you are trying to get everybody to bed, that is when some of them are coming out of their room saying they don't feel sleepy and they are not sleeping. And you can't stop them. You can't tell them to go to bed. If they don't want to go to bed, and that's when you, the healthcare supporter or the nurse, need to make sure that wherever they go into, that they are safe, that there's nothing on the corridor that they can trip or anything like that. How will she be able to do that for 100 people? 100. Hey, guys, like this video for me. Arikemi said, how was she able to sleep that long? Because normally colleagues will come wake you up if you're over. Exactly. See, yeah, even people that do night shift, they do get long hours to sleep. They get sleep time. I remember when I was a student and when I worked nights, some of them they take turns, but then that is even a ward where they were well staffed. It was on the hospital where I went to. I think there was about 4 nurses. It was an elderly ward, a stroke rehabilitation ward. There was 4 nurses and 2 healthcare assistants, and I was a student. It was not until that night shift that I realized that they get sleep time up to 3 hours. They do. So while you go to sleep, the other 2 nurses are on the floor looking after the patient. And when you go to sleep, come back, the other 2 they go. That is how it should be done. If they are adequately staffed, if there's enough staffing. If they don't have enough staff, I don't think they will take up to 3 hours. They'll probably take an hour and a half or 2. So that break is included with your eating time. If you want to eat at 3 a.m., go and eat at 3 a.m. If you want to eat at 3, go and eat at. They do get some sleep time. Okay. So even this lady now, she's the only nurse. How will she even get I reckon say only RN self now. Exactly. Why? She's overworked, overwhelmed, and So that was why I said no. Before she accepted to having done that, she should have spoken to a union. She should have spoken to even an employment lawyer. Because now they made it look like she is the major problem when the organization is one who actually have understaffing issues. She has a good case. So even for the fact that she said yes, she slept. And like I said, they claimed that according to the article that she slept 6 times. How, as an organization, did you support her? Did you say, oh, maybe you should take a few days off? Or maybe we should try and alternate your night so you don't do night all the time? And yes, I understand that she studies. So maybe rather than offering her long night shifts, let her break her shifts. So for me now, I used to do 4 days a week. It was too much for me because I was like, it's as if 24 hours is not even enough in a day for me anymore. I decided to do, you know what, I'd rather do 3 long days and then I get 4 days off. I'd rather do it. So this last week now, I was working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. That's like 6-7 days already off. And then I worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this week that I'm starting now, I'm working tomorrow. I'm off on Tuesday, working on Wednesday, off on Thursday, working on Thursday, Friday. I don't like my shift that way. I rather do my shift 3 days in a row. So I have my long days off. That's how I do it, and I'm happy. And where I work, we don't do night shift. Like I said, I make sure that if it means that I'm going to work night shift as a nurse, I'd rather not no, not work as a nurse. And luckily, I found where I work. We don't do night shifts. We don't. Yes, you might work. You might, if your finish time is 8 o'clock, you might not go home at 8 o'clock. You might maybe be there till 9 o'clock or half nine. I'd rather do that than work nights. No, I can't. I can't. So it has said that colleagues that reported that were not nice at all. It could happen to anybody. But like I said, if it's happened 6 times, I mean, I won't fault them for reporting that, because at the end of the day, there is also going to impact them in a way, because if she's sleeping and something happens that they know they're not supposed to do, they will be forced to do it when they know that she's sleeping. They will be forced, like maybe a resident fall now or something happened. They will have to try and lift that resident up, because after all, the RN is sleeping. They will be put in a position whereby they are doing what they should not be doing, which was one of those where she asked one of the ex-assistants to go and administer Panadol when they are not trained to administer medication. That's putting those healthcare assistants in a situation whereby they should not be. And yes, I won't fault them, but then when you go people, they will grass you over something, they will grass you, your own. If you even said until Abi, our class captain, comes to flogging our likes, Abi, there's people you guys are not liking yet. You guys, please like. Tough Luck said, sounds like it was not a facility that have patients that are acute. Even at that, acute or not, 100, there will be some of them that will need medication. They will need some sort of tablets. Some of them might wake up and say, oh, I've got headache. Some might say, oh, my tummy is sore. Or some might wake up and say, oh, I feel nauseousness. You probably need to give them some anti-sickness. All of those 100 people cannot be sleeping at night. They can't. Therefore, third shift was probably very easy, and she took advantage of that while studying. Too much going on half her body. And I think, in my own opinion, she was taking on too much. You are only 25. Why are you going for a second degree? If your father is able to pay for your sister's surgery that costs $60,000, then why are you putting yourself under such stress? Why? She's 25. Most of her mates will be partying and doing all of that, but she's, grabbing, packing, graduate rules upon graduate. Do one thing at a time. In my own opinion, she had a lot going on. And that's why even when my kids are studying right now, I've been pushing them to go and get a job since year one. My kids are just looking at me that who do you want to stress, mom? My kids refuse. They told me, no, mommy, we are not taking up employment until we finish uni. That was what they said to me. They told me, mom, no, we're not. And who am I to say, oh, you must? Let me read your comment. Onyade said, we also have source support at my job. They can even verify. Exactly. Yes. Even with this, my case of social service with my son, I think I was on apropos gist where I was saying that the social workers, when they keep going to my children's school, they are speaking to my daughter, and I'm pissed. And if hearing that alone, I'm mad. And when I get to work, people like my colleagues could tell me that when something is wrong, what's going on? And like, oh, this way, like, what? I have to go speak to my team leader. And she was like, oh, do you want to give maybe some counseling? Do you want to do this, that? The spiritual health, the spiritual care. Ayode said, do they not have industrial tribunal in Australia? I don't know how their system work there, but like I said, if I was that girl, I enter work and realize that I am the only one, RN 200 for a care. I'm going home. I am going home. I'm not doing that shift. I am going home. If they are going to sack me, let them sack me. Because I would rather protect my registration, my PIN, than lose it based on the error or based on the irresponsibility of our employer. Yeah, they said even if she leaves Australia, she has to disclose. Exactly. Yeah. If she decides to, like me being a nurse here, I can practice in Australia with my nursing degree, my UK nursing degree. So this issue that has been recorded against my name now because Olokpa gave me caution for that social service case. You guys, I share this story with you guys now. They gave me caution. So if I were to pack my bags to go to Australia tomorrow and apply for a job, I need to mention that caution. I need to mention it. I can't say, oh, because I'm no longer in the UK. I need to mention it. It's now up to the employer to decide if they're going to employ me or not. And my own case, I would imagine that it will not have an impact on me because at the end of the day, my governing body did not investigate the case. They threw it out. They were like, no, we are not concerned. It happened outside of work. It's in our life. It happened in my own private life. So they are not concerned. And based on obviously talking with my manager, with the head nurse in my work, that I am someone who loves her job. Even when I was sharing this story with my oga, they were like, come, when they were growing up, they received backhand from their parents. They received backhand from their parents. So there's no Igbo person that will tell me that they've never given their children backhand before. There's none that will tell me that they've never given their children backhand. Igbo people, there's none of them that will say to my face that they've never given their one, there's none of them except they're lying. Hayode said, I did night when I was in St. Lewisham, but we were having breaks to do some nap on. Exactly, yeah. You can decide to you can see even that 3 long hours. Some people might decide to break it. Some might decide to take it every hourly. Some might decide to take it at a long stretch. If that was me, definitely I will not be working night shift. I will take my one long because I know I have enough staff. And that's where night shift, when they do handovers, they listen to your handover of all patients, because when you go for your break, the other nurse needs to know what's happening on your side. And the way some words are, there are some words like that U-shape, which means that you can easily go to the other side of the other nurse to know, look what is going on and stuff like that. But 100, like I said to you guys, here in Glasgow, we are even enjoying. My hospital, maximum, I don't even think I've been on the ward as a student before. I don't think I've seen a nurse taking more than 8. Like I said, maximum, that is if they are struggling, is 8. Most times 6. Because they always have 6 rooms. So there'll be 2 nurses to one side, 2 nurses to the other side, and 2 nurses to the other side. That's 6. And they will have 1 healthcare assistant in one side, 1 healthcare assistant in one side. So they'll have 3 healthcare assistants in the hall. So they have 3 corridors and 6 nurses. And at times, if they are struggling, they will have 3 nurses to each 3 nurses, like 1 nurses in each corridor, 1 nurse in one corridor. So the entire ward will have 3 nurses, at least 3 nurses there. But 1 nurse to 100 Adubo people, I am sorry. No, I am not. You will not find me at that. Maybe I might manage it for one day. The following day, I will not go back. That said, because of childcare, I do night shift. It's not easy. One thing I've been fortunate about, me and my husband, one of us, we've been so fortunate that when our children were growing, I was studying. So they were either in nursery during the day. Now that they were so grown, I've not had to do night shift. It was only 2 weeks as a student that I did night shift. The other times I was like, no. I don't think I can ever work night shift. I'm sorry. I can't. See, even at my work now, if they start discussing night shift, I'll carry my bag. I am going. I am not doing night shift. And no, if you work on the ward, you can't opt out of night shift. You can't. If I say paid to do a job, not to sleep on the job, exactly. I feel really bad for the poor girl. We are all humans after her. If she was Oyinbo, would they have sacked her after? No, they wouldn't. Instead, they would either suspend or ask her to take some sort of training. In fact, they will even support her so that such doesn't happen again. That was why I said deregistering her was too much. It was too much. It was too much because at the end of the day, the organization has a major fault. They have a major fault. You decide to go and do the work, and then they now put your license on. No, it's just obviously she could have sleeping on the ward could have been preventable. You did it once, twice. Like, why are you sleeping on the ward? Why are you sleeping? Like I said, insufficient staffing. That's a major make. How can you be looking after residents and you don't have adequate staffing? Except maybe that's how the system works in Australia. But nah, no. I'm not going to. You won't find me at such job. You won't find me. They say 100 to 1 nurses. She was wrong to have taken the job exactly, because I would imagine that they would have told her the nurse ratio to residents. I would really love from her. I really love to hear from her to come let us know how it works exactly. But in all, it is that employer, that facility that I'm blaming. I am blaming them. They were adequately or insufficiently understaffed. Yes, they are. Vivian, have you lived abroad? Vivian is in abroad now. Yodeji. Vivian says subtle racism in my opinion. I won't be happy though if my elderly parent was in that home stabbed by one nurse. I won't be happy either. She better sue and get a payout. It's not her fault that she was the only nurse there. See, me that I'm talking to you, by the time I start work at half seven, once it's 5 o'clock, I am already giving up. Like, I want to sleep. I want to go home. Once it's 5 o'clock, that's me. So with my job, I don't like telling this, but I would say it. My job is easy. We have 16 theaters, and in the morning, you take a patient, you go and collect the patient on the ward, you pre-op them, the theater staff come, and then that's the patient away. So you are practically waiting an hour, 2 hours, either doing something on 2 hours, sitting down, you're waiting for when surgery will be done. And then once the patient is ready, you go collect the patient. At times, within my 12-hour shift, I only have to look after 6 patients. And I don't spend that long with them. So if it's an orthopedic patient, the maximum time I'm spending in recovery with an ortho patient is 45 minutes. If they are in pain, 45 minutes. But if they are comfortable, half an hour, I get them back to the ward. And then I wait for the next patient. So in a whole day of my 12-hour shift, maximum patient I'm looking after is 5 or even 6. And I don't spend as much time with them. The only patient that maybe I'm spending longer with, and it's not every day, because every day at work we are being rationed in what department. So you might be in pre-op today, tomorrow you might be in post-operative care tomorrow. They ration us like that. So the only time that I'm spending maybe 2 hours, 3 hours with the patient is like maybe if I'm looking after a thoracic patient, maybe a patient that's had lung surgery. Yes, they often come out in agony. I might be with that patient for like 3 hours because I need to help them manage their pain. And then if I feel that they are comfortable, their pain is manageable, I'll discharge them. So I can't complain. But 100, like I said, even at that, by the time it's at 5, 6 o'clock, I am already tired. Like, I don't feel like doing anything anymore. Not to talk of 100. No. American exactly implies to blame 100 to 100%. That's a lot. That's a lot. Michael said, don't spill a lot about nice. That's why I'm doing it codedly. I'm not saying a lot, but they do get their breaks. They get their breaks. So you can either take it once or break it down, but they do get their breaks. They said, I don't know. In our time, we normally have sleep time. I was like, yeah, they still get. That's why I said the sleep time, you can decide to take it once or you break it down. Some people, they might say, no, yes, ideally, you're not supposed to sleep at work, right? So some people will take it maybe hourly. They'll break it into 3 and take it. I've seen people eating at midnight, 3 a.m., break at work. I'm like, how can you be eating when you're supposed to be sleeping? So it depends on how the facility works, and obviously it depends on if the staffing level is perfect. Baba, sorry sir, I am Monkpe Loruko. Sir, Pa Ayodeji. You're almost the same age as my dad. Well, my dad is over 70. Sorry sir, I called you by name, sir. Emma Binu, sir. Pa Ayodeji. Vivian said, I'm not in the medical profession. I'm an adult social worker. However, common sense kicks in. So not sure why you asked that question. Okay. I don't know how much her salary was, so I don't know how much she was paid, but trust me, I will never, like I said, I will not do that job. You come in there, they tell you are the only nurse to 3 hours for healthcare assistant. I am going home. I will tell them straight blank on, I'm sorry, I will not put my pain on the line. And also, I will not jeopardize the safety of these people, of the people I'm supposed to be caring for. No, I am not. I will go home. Except they bring in more errands. And I will not be I will not be clocking in until I see must have. Let me share a quick story with you. There's a lady that I know here in Glasgow who actually encouraged me to go into nursing. So there was most times we hardly get to talk because she works in a different hospital. We hardly get to talk. So after I qualified and I started my work, one Sunday like that, she called me. I was like, on a Sunday, and you're at work, you're calling me. What's happening? Don't tell me you're in trouble. She said, say she's the only nurse to look after 35 patients. It's an elderly ward. 35 patients here in Glasgow in a very popular hospital. She's the only nurse and 2 healthcare assistants. And she said then she was a newly qualified. She's only been qualified 1 year. So she was in charge. She was on the ward. 35 patients. She was the only one. She now said she told the senior staff, obviously, if there's issue like that, there'll be a number to call to say, no, there's code red. staffing. So she said she's currently sitting at the desk waiting for them to go and try and hijack other nurses from other wards to come and help her, because at the end of the day, there should be 4 nurses on that ward. Only one. So she was like, while she's waiting for them to find nurses, she's sitting down. That was why she called me. She's left the hospital now. She's left. She now works at my hospital. She's left. You can imagine me. I would just like she said, I will not do anything, because how can one nurse 35? No, no. Oyade said, I agree. She's quite career aggressive for a Gen Z. Exactly. She should have worked with his degree, work with her exactly. Maybe while working, save some money up, and then go and do your second degree or your master's. She had a lot going on for her. And you see, even me that I'm here, being a nurse, I have side hustle, I do YouTube. There are times that 24 hours is not even enough a day for me. Not to talk of, nah. Even myself, I can't explain it. But I know Uncle Ben will say that one, I don't know how you do, but nursing, no. Saved a lot, and then back on it. Exactly. That would have, if she was my daughter, that was what I would have advised her to do. She had a lot going on. And for the fact that she had a lot going on, I felt like our employer let her down. They should have supported her. They know why she was working night shifts. Maybe they could have cut her hours, or maybe she could have done her hours over 7 days. Yeah, there's some people who rather do night shift. Okay, do 5 hours every night. At least as long as you get your full, if she's working full, as long as you get all of your hours. But all of that, nah. See, I don't even care how much hours or how much hours she's doing. But one nurse to 100. One nurse to 100. Vivian said it's usually a man's thing, but just looks it up on Google and says it's unisex. We learn, yeah, Deji say unisex. I know a female who bears Deji actually. Deji said, remember Sherry Bless case with her first son? I don't think I know that story, but I'll look it up. Let me write it. I'll look it up. So, new nurses that are coming, please don't ever get yourself in a situation whereby you are being your pain is being put on that. Because I was looking after a patient a few days, and we were chatting. I told her how, during my training as a nurse, how I struggled, and I explained how one time when during COVID period, so where I had my placement, it was quite far away from home, and that road that leads to my placement, I was not confident driving on that. There is a road that leads to the airport in Glasgow. I was not confident driving on that road, so I don't take the car, except maybe if my husband volunteers to drive. But this time around, it was during COVID, and yes, they don't want a lot of people. I can drive. I've been driving for years, but roads that I'm not familiar with, I don't want to drive on that road. So during COVID period, I was pasted to that hospital, and I left the cash in case my husband needs to go somewhere with the kids, or he wants to go to the shop for the kids and stuff like that. During COVID period, I was leaving home at 4:50 in the morning because I have to be on the ward for 7:30 during COVID. I was leaving home 4:50 in the morning so that I could get the bus that comes right through my way at 4:55. I am getting that bus because it will take 45 minutes for that bus to get to city center. And by the time that bus gets to the city center, I have just 5 minutes left to jump on the train that is going to take me to Paisley. So I was practically going to bed at 9 o'clock, waking up at 4 o'clock, getting dressed. 4:50, I am downstairs waiting for my bus. And why I decided to get on the first bus for that time was because during COVID, a single bus will only take 15 passengers. And before I gave myself brain, by the time that bus gets to my bus stop, the bus already has 15 passengers. So most times they don't stop, which means that I will have to wait for the next bus that takes half an hour, and I often get late to my placement, and those nurses will be looking at me dirty. So I said that I'm waking up early. So most of the time during that 6 weeks placement, I jumped on the bus at 4:55 in the morning during COVID, because COVID started a month after I started my uni training, my nursing training, and then that bus would take 45 minutes to get to town. So if I get the bus at 4:55, the bus gets to town about 4:55, about 5:45, because it takes all the bus stop all those inside streets. The bus takes that route, so it takes about 45 minutes to get into town. So by the time I'm walking to the train station, I have just 5 minutes to jump on the train. So by the time I'm jumping on the train, it's about 6 o'clock, 6:15, and by that time in the morning, the area I'm going to is in Paisley. That time in the morning at 6:15, the bus that will take me from the train station to the hospital directly, they don't operate until 6:30. So rather than waste 15 minutes waiting for that bus, I will do the 25 minutes walk from that train station to the hospital. On the bus is about 10-15 minutes, but I was doing 25 minutes walk for 6 weeks in the morning. And I will get to work maybe before 7 o'clock. So the shift started at 7:45. So by the time I changed from my clothes, before I had time to take a cup of coffee, it's already 7:30 that I used to start. And I was, and I was obviously, as I was sharing that story with my patient, I told her one time that I actually cried on the train in Glasgow. I was tired because I was lacking sleep, and this was me going to placement 4 days a week. Half 7, I start, and I'm leaving home at 4:55 in the morning. So if anybody wants to rubbish my career, or you want to talk down on me because I be nurse, I will give you water because I worked hard for it. And I was saying to to the patient that, there was one morning that it was too much for me. I cried on the train. And then the conductor was like, "What's going on? Are you all right? Do you need help?" And I'm like, "I'm just tired. I'm a nursing student." The minute I said that, she sat down beside me and she just cajoled me. She was like, what year? I was in second year, final placement in second year. I cried and she just sat down with me on the train and she was like, it's understandable. Even though it was COVID era, we're not even supposed to be that close. She was like, you're almost there. This is that. I can never forget the struggles I went through. And then somebody will now use whatever to now make, no. It's a different case if I committed an error intentionally. But I will not allow somebody to, no, don't. And this also goes to other new nurses. These things, we are not trained. We're not told. You just have to use common sense. There are some people at my work that if I'm making up infusion or if I'm making up maybe morphine or fentanyl, if they don't see me draw out the fluid, draw out the, what's it called? The injection for water. Water for injection. If they don't see me drawing out, they will not sign that medication you've made up. They will not. When we give morphine, we dilute it. So there's 10 milligram in 1 ml. So we will dilute it with 9 mils of water. Sometimes, if they don't see you opening sodium chloride to draw out the water, they don't sign it. They're like, I didn't see you draw that fluid. And I don't blame them. Or you want to make up fentanyl and you don't show them, like, okay, this is what I'm making. They won't sign it. And I don't blame them. Me too, I have learned if they are making up infusion or they are making stuff, if they don't do it in my presence, if they don't do it from scratch in my presence, me too, I know they sign. You learn on the job. You learn. I'm going to read your comment and I'm going to drop the link so that we can take a couple of calls, guys, okay? I said I want to be here for an hour. I'll be here for more than an hour already. I'll take a couple of calls just so, obviously, I would love to hear your views in regards to this. Like I said, I blame her for sleeping and I blame her because she had a lot going on, but our employer let her down. They should have supported her rather than suspending her and taking off. Rather than disregistering, because she's young. She's only just started her career. Why ruin her future? All they needed to do was either maybe put her on special leave or something. And then put her on special leave and ask her, go do this training. Once you complete that training, you are going to shadow another member of staff for another maybe 6 weeks. And then after you shadow that staff member for 6 weeks, if they are fine with your attitude, if they are fine with then you can be let. But then again, if they now let you loose after you've gone through all of those things and they are putting you back into a facility where you are the only nurse looking after 100 people, I think it will be right to put in your resignation. It will be right to put in your resignation. What they should have done, they shouldn't have suspended her. They shouldn't have deregistered her. They could have given her a leave of absence. Say, okay, due to what happened, we want to support you. Rather than maybe deregistering you or making you use your license, we're going to support you. You need to go for some sort of training. Maybe it takes 6 months. It could be unpaid. It could be paid. It depends. They could have supported her that way. After she's already gone through that training, then she cannot come back to work and she will shadow another nurse. Another nurse will know by nonsense. Who will watch her every move? Day shift, night shift. Who would watch her? And as long as maybe that shadowing will take 6 weeks, if that other nurse that she's shadowing is happy with her work ethics, then they can now let her be. But then, now that you've now gone through all of that training, they're now happy with you. They now put you back into a 100 resident facility with you alone. Put in your resignation. Don't do it. Don't do it. They should have supported her rather than deregister her. That's my take. Delightful said, a lot of people have multiple jobs, and I've seen some fall asleep, especially during the. Like I said, there's a page on Instagram that I follow. I think it's called Nigerian Community. I've seen cases of African Nigerian people who were actually caught sleeping. One actually said that when she went to tribunal, she told them that she was not sleeping, that she was only saying her prayer, that she does her prayer every half an hour. When I read that, she still went through the tribunal and they still suspended her. But I've not followed up on the case. Maybe she lost her job or not. You know, all those jobs that offer you COS. She was like, the colleague went to go and report on her that she was sleeping. And then it was only a matter of, she had a break of, I think, 15 minutes or something. So she went over her break. And a colleague went in and said that because she had her head down like that. So because the Nigerian healthcare stand put her head down that way, the colleague totally assumed that she was sleeping and reported her. And she said when they called her, she told them that I was not sleeping. That in the position she was sitting, how can she sleep in that position? Yes, it was a night shift. That she was only saying her prayers. That she says her prayers every half an hour. But I didn't, obviously there was a tribunal case. I didn't follow up with that case. But that page is called Nigerian Community on Instagram. You see lots of COS cases and stories like that. Welcome, guys. I see if you are new here, please like this live stream from me. Guys, the link's in the comment section. Let's take a couple of calls. If there are no calls, I'll be running up in about 5 minutes. Thank you, Lloyd Bager. Thank you so much. Mobile Passy, you're welcome. Thank you so much, guys. Arikemi said, Vivian said, Arikemi, what should you do for night shift? Come up for there. There is a documentary on how night shift workers and daytime works, brains and body work. Night is worse on the body. See, it's because of all these shenanigans that I refuse to go and work in the care home as a registered nurse. I know some nurses who went straight into care because it's a better pay. I mean, I refuse. I refused. I will never work as a nurse in a care home. I am sorry. And I will never work night shifts. And I know some people, if you have children, childcare, but then it's, I don't know how you guys are doing it. I don't know. But during my time when I was raising my kids, oh my God, I was super happy. It was straightforward. It was straightforward. You know, it was straightforward. Work-life balance, exactly. The stress. That's why where I'm working now, 3 of my other colleagues that we went to university together, they are now working at my department because we don't do night shift. You only have to work one Saturday every 6 weeks. By the time you work one Saturday, before it's your turn again, it will be the following year. And for me, because I do long days, I'm not bothered about Saturdays anyway. Because on Saturday, there's only 8 patients. So by that time, maybe just 6 o'clock. So I'll not be sitting down. No. So I don't bother myself putting down my name. But maybe if I needed to do something during the week and I need extra days, I will opt to do this. I will opt to do Saturday. I think a few weeks ago, I was working Saturday. And that shift was really, really good. If I don't even want to tell you guys what time I go home. I don't want to talk too much. Vivian said, wait, Arika, I'm a bit confused. Aren't you having support for childcare? Do you know how much childcare costs now? But this lady we are talking about, she's only 25. And I just felt like she had a lot on her plate. She was taking on too much. But did I say you can't just leave because they can, because that patient abandoned. So if she's meant to start at a night shift at 7:30, I'm sure they will hand over patients to her now. During the handover, they will have told her there's only you and 100 patients. At that moment is when I'll be saying, no, I'm sorry. You need to either get senior management here or you need to get senior whatever. I'm sorry, I cannot comment on this shift by myself. So before you even clock in, during your handover, you will have known now. I can't even imagine how long it will have taken for them to hand over 100 patients to her. 100 care home. I mean, like I said, they are elderly people. So it's not maybe they are sick. Yes, understandable. But then some of them could have age illnesses, dementia, Parkinson's. Some of them might not even, they might be walking frame and all of that. It's still a lot. 100. Even 20 to 1 nurse is a lot. I won't do it though. I won't. And I'm telling you guys, it's better you save your pin. It's better you don't clock in for that shift. You come in, they tell you you're the only one. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I can't start this shift. Period. If they sack you because of that, so be it. You can apply elsewhere with your pin intact. With your pin intact. Vivian said I've cried too. Anyway, I've been there that day, honestly. Vivian said I cried on Thursday. On Thursday, I cried all the way home. Felt really awful, but I picked up my service live. Don't be scared to cry to anyone out there if you need to. Yes, that day I cried, no be small. Like at some point, I almost withdraw from my training because during COVID period, you are wearing face masks. It was a lot, but thankfully, I thank God that I didn't have to because the remainder of my placement was done at where I work now. So most of my placement I finished it at where I currently work. So it was not far from home. It was just like a breeze for me. So it was difficult. It was big. It was difficult. Someone said, "How do I get to Australia?" Go and ask Google now. Go and ask Google. Do I look like a fly pattern to you? Go and ask Google how to get to Australia now. Anyway, guys, I'm going to round up since there's no one calling. But all I want us to take away from this is this. In my own opinion, she shouldn't have been just registered. She could have been maybe suspended over a certain amount of time, ask her to do some maybe reflection on her actions and stuff like that. Because in the UK, they will support you as much. You have to do something. Maybe you buy patients. Maybe you buy patients when you could have prevented your, like when you know what you have done before they will actually go to that extent with you. I just felt like they should have supported her rather than deregister her. And in my own opinion, that work ethics, 1 nurse to 100 residents, that was a no. That's a big failure on the side of our employer. And like I said, she shouldn't have been disregistered. They could have just suspended her, asked her to go take some training. After training, come back. You shadow another person for a few weeks, and if you're happy with if you're happy with, if they're happy with all of the training you've done and your reflections, and then, but then if you're signing you back in and you realize that you're going back to 100%, please happily resign. And yes, also, if you're a nurse here in the UK, please make sure you join the workforce union. Whatever career you are, if you're a healthcare worker, a nurse, even a cleaner, cleaners have their own workforce union. Join a union, okay? Join a union. You can never tell when they'll be offered. I've heard cases of people, even black, say, "Oh, work, they don't help you. They don't help you." Come, if you let them know at the very instant of what happened, and just because you join a union does not mean that you're going to be doing nonsense at work. Just because you are a part of you have a union does not mean that you should be taking for granted things you shouldn't be doing. That is not what union is there for. Or if something happened today, tomorrow now they now advise you now go and join union tomorrow. That is where I've seen cases where it's not worked. Immediately you sign your whatever career that you are in, immediately you join that career, you get employed, join a workforce union straight away. How much I think in my own, I think annually, I think it's like 30 something pounds or something. I can't even remember yet. And I broke it down over 3 months so they can take out £7 something every month. If I feel rich, I will just pay it once and for all. It's not a lot. Even if something is going on or something is going on at work and maybe you don't feel comfortable talking about it with your employer, you can speak to the union about it and they will send a representative out to come speak to your employer. They can always help in that regard. It's not only when you are in trouble that you can make use of them. In fact, some of them in this work, they can even give you mortgage advice. They can give you money budgeting advice. They are there for a variety of things. It's not only for when you're in trouble alone. And just because you join the union does not mean you start behaving anyhow. No. When you're at work, let your head be there. Let your head be there. And if you're struggling, you think that, you might commit error, speak to whoever is in charge that day. It's up to that person to decide if they're going to let you stay or go home. And I shared here that, I went to Nigeria in September there. I came back. I was not due to go back for another 5 days. But a day before I was meant to go back, I was still feeling as if I was lethargic. I was tired. I was exhausted. I could barely keep my eyes open, even though I was having proper sleep. I phoned saying, I feel this way. I don't feel great. I told them I won't be coming in. And I said, when I look at it today, it was a Monday. We're like, I'm going to self-certify. And self-certify means that you can say you're not coming to work for 5 days. You don't need your GP for that. I did that for 5 days. See, if I was not feeling better after 5 days, I can then now go to my GP to ask for a fit note to say, no, this is how I'm feeling. And then your GP can give you fit note to extend your absence. So that way you get paid at work for it. But in my own case, I didn't have to extend it. During that 5 days I was off, I was at home. I was not doing anything. I was pretty much at home. Even when I go to the shop to do the shopping, when I went to do food shop, by the time I entered a couple of shops, I was tired. And this is even when I drive. I was tired. Even when I came back and they did my return to work, I told them, yes, I was tired. I just felt like something was going on. I was just tired. They put all of that in, assigned, and that was it. Rather than going into work and then I commit an error, maybe I want to go and give 50, I want to go and give 100. It's just to put yourself safe. And also, people like, your workplace is not where you go and talk about your life. Come, your team leaders are there for a purpose. Your team leaders, your managers are there for a purpose. If you're struggling with anything, you should be able to approach your team leaders. You should be able to approach your managers. Maybe if these guys approach a manager or something and say, what, I've got all of this going on. I've got all of this going on. This is why I'm working night shift. This is that. Maybe they would have been able to know how or in what way to support her. Because I've seen comments on Instagram like, oh, your workplace is not where you want to go and tell them everything that's happening to you. You can never tell who will have the answer to what you're experiencing. And people say, oh, you're talking too much. It's not a matter of you're talking too much. Because at the end of the day, if your head is too full, your mind is too full, and you're not speaking to people about it, you will lose your mind and you will do what you're not supposed to do. You will lose your mind and do what you're not supposed to do. Nursing is not an easy job. I'm telling you guys, even me being a recovery, being a theater nurse, there are times whereby I say things, I have to second guess myself. Yes, I second guess myself. And when I second guess myself, I ask my other colleague. If they are not sure, that thing I'm second guessing myself, I don't do it. I don't do it. And for the fact that I did not do it, I will go and put it in my note and I'll put the reason why I did not do it. Oh, I felt this, and this is, I will put the reason why I have done so. It's better that way than do something that you're already double guessing if you're not sure about it. And then you now go and do it and then you enter Wala. It's better you don't do something when you're already doubting it than do it even though you are doubting it. That's you putting yourself into frying pan. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end this story. I'm going to end this live stream here. I really feel pity for this lady, and I'm hoping maybe after the 9 months, they might be able to reconsider her case. And in my opinion, I think she deserves a payout because, like I said, I am faulting the employer in this. I've seen cases where I'm at work, where I'm at work that, there were staffing issues and there are still more patients that still need to have surgery. They've had to cancel cases. Yeah. They've had to cancel some surgeries because obviously there were not enough staffing capacities. It's better they do it that way than endanger the lives of people. They've had to cancel some cases. If they could prevent it, they know. But then it's better people are safe than, So just saying. Anyway, guys, I hope we have learned from this. If you're still aspiring to become a nurse, nursing is not that, it's not a crazy job. It's great. I enjoy doing my job, but then at the same time, while you're enjoying it, be smart. Be very, very smart. If you're double guessing something you're not sure about, ask questions. And if you're doubting an action that you should do, if you're doubting yourself, don't do it. And just put this in your note and state the reason why you've not done it. It's better if people say, oh, why did you do it, than do it and then you enter Wala. That's my own. And like I said, this girl, I hope in the 9 months they give her the chance to maybe raise her again and stuff like that, because it's just not fair. I felt that the way they've dealt with her was absolutely too cruel. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much to each and every one of you that have been here. And if you're watching this video back, kindly leave your thoughts and opinion based on all that we've touched today. And stay safe out there. Okay. And nothing's a beautiful job. Nothing's a beautiful job. With that being said, guys, thank you and have an amazing week ahead. And if you're new here and if you enjoy what I do on my channel, before you go, do not hesitate to subscribe, share this live stream, and also turn on the post notification so that anytime and every time I come on live stream or I drop a video, you will always get a notification so you don't miss any video, right? With that being said, have an amazing week ahead, and I shall see you in the week. It's going to be sit down videos, maybe a few live stream, but yeah. Anyway, have an amazing week, and thank you so much to each and every one of you. If you're new here, welcome. It was nice having you here. Thank you to our flocks of, thank you so much. Have an amazing week, and I will see you guys at some point. Okay, bye.